Relatives of the Coka brothers say they don't feel safe. That's after the 5 men accused of murdering the two were released on bail today. Zenzele and Mgcini Coka were killed and violence broke out on a farm in Mpumalanga earlier this month. The alleged killers, Klingenberg, Danie Malan, Cornelius Greyling, Ingitious, Steinberg and Zenzele Yende were each granted bail of 10,000 rand this morning. eNCA's Gervin Whittles was in court and joins us now live to give us all the latest from there, Gervin. So let's start first with the grounds on which these men were granted bail.
Yeah, Tembekile, so the magistrate essentially finding that there really wasn't a strong enough argument made by the state as to whether or not these men would be a threat to the witnesses that they intend calling at the trial. Also says that their defense lawyers argued sufficiently that they wouldn't be a flight risk and that they would attend their trial. Right now, I am at Mpumalanga. And you can see this is the farm that's just outside of Piet Retief where everything happened, Tembekile. You'll see behind me there's the gate A, as they put it, and then a little bit to right behind that is the big barn. That's the barn that the job seekers were said to have walked into when they demanded these jobs. So, and then you'd see in the distance there the harvest continuing here at Mpumalanga. But you'd notice that there aren't many farm workers around. That's because many of the farm workers who've lived in this area for decades now have refused to work for Mr. Potgieter, who runs this farm, and the father and the other families, due to what's happened to the Coka brothers. Essentially, they're boycotting it, and many of the people that are working here are the farmers themselves. And right now, they're finished with the harvest. They're trying to get their grain to the market, so they're taking it out of the stores, putting it into these trucks, and then it'll be leaving the area. And this area is very tense at the moment. Just up the road where I'm standing currently, the household of the Coka family is currently living in a very bad condition. The mother of Zenzele as well as Mgcini saying that she doesn't have anything to provide their children, and as they were the only two breadwinners, and they're hoping that they'll get some assistance from the government following the pair's death. But of course they're very unhappy about them being granted, the accused being granted bail today. And let's have a look at what the magistrate had to say about the grounds on which they were granted bail.
Wherefore, the court rules that the applicants have been able to discharge of their honours to demonstrate to the court that it is in the interest of justice that they be released on bail, that their bail application is successful, and therefore bail is granted.
Speak to us, Gervin, very quickly about why it is that the Coka family is now saying that they don't feel safe in that area.
They believe these farmers will come and attack them now that they've been granted bail, Tembekile. In fact, they're paranoid that they may come and attack them during the night because they live about 5 minutes away from here on this same farm, on the same land, which their families have occupied for at least 60 years. The Shabalala family coming here as the chief in the middle of the 1800s, and their headmen were the Tlatswaya family. And by the end of the 1800s, we saw the Greyling family who owned this farm coming in here and then informing the Tlatswaya family that they are now labor tenants. And the Tlatswayas have worked for the Greylings and subsequently the Potgieters ever since then. And the Tlatswayas and the Shabalalas, as well as 41 other families in this area, have launched a land claim for ownership, not only of Mpumalanga, but also the land around it. And because of that, they believe there is serious tension between themselves and the owners of the farms and the other accused. And that's the basis on which they say they don't feel safe. And of course, they claim that the farmers have a history of abuse. We tried to put that to them, both in court and yesterday, but we were not able to. Let's have a look now at what the family had to say about the accused being granted bail.
Asikho safety kakhulu ngalabantu laba. Vele ukubulala kusinto yabo yokuqala. And then even ugogo ekhaya uthe hambani niyozo phambili. Uyazi ukuthi the white man will get the bail noma kanjani bazoyithola because abelungu umhlaba uvuna umthetho uvuna abelungu at all time. So if you are a black people, you like a dog at always. What can you do now? Lama ilungu laba bazofika emakhaya ebusuku singalali bakhona ukuthi bazos-attacker bacishe ubufakazi bonke. Imantshi ithi ubufakazi bethu bunamanga kodwa kufe abantu abamnyama. Angazi ukuthi ubufakazi abathi bunamanga bukanjani bafile abantu bafikile amaphoyisa bababonile abelungu the white man is wearing the bulletproof okhombisa ukuthi they have planned to come and kill someone.
Ikuphi ukuphepha lapho kofakazi iqiniso kushuthi alikho ke lapho makanjalo asiphephile asikhululekile sonke singumphakathi nasekhaya ukuphepha akukho angazibona bathi ke sizophepha kuphi ukuphepha hayi manje ayikho into esizoyisho sizolalela okushiwa yilona we istate kodwa ke asazi ukuthi ke yona uma ngabe sekuthothi ke sekhona kofakazi osongasatholakali ukuthi yona izabe seke isiyenza njani kuzabe sekuba kuphi okuyiqiniso ke lapho.
Government officials reporting from Kondo in Mpumalanga. Almost 2